friends, it's Yana here today, and today I am coming to you with a hack. Now, this hack came straight from the Ellie and Mac's blog. So if you have not checked out our blog over at our website, you really need to do so because there are so many tips and tricks, so many hacks, so many good resources on that blog. You need to head over there right now and check it out. Well, I have this dress that I made a little while ago. And then I saw Lakeisha had this beautiful slit on it. And I'm like, I want a slit on this dress. And then when I saw the blog that Lakeisha did with how easy it was to do that slit on an already made dress, I said, it's meant to be. We're going to do it together because this is a fun and easy hack. Now, you can do this to any dress. You can do this to a dress that you bought from the store. You can do this from a dress that you already sewed up, or you can do this to a dress that you're planning to sew up. Let's get started. The first step is to have your dress all completely sewn, even down to the hem, which was fine with me because I already have my dress all the way done. Then you're going to you're going to try on your dress and figure out where you want your slit and how high you want your slit to go. Now, I already tried on my dress and I know that I want my slit to go, I know that I want my slit to go like 5 inches above this skirt line here. So I already know where I want that to be. You want to make sure you know how far from the edge of the seam allowance you want it to come forward, because you don't really want it right at the center. It's up to you where you want that slit. But if you want it right at the center or if you want it to the side, also what else you can do to be more precise. I know some people like to be super precise. I'm not the best at that. You can fold your skirt in the center and then you can mark where the center is, either if you want a center slit or if you want a side slit that's right at the center. You can fold again from the edge to that center point you created and mark where that half of center is here. I want to do that. Okay. And then, or if you want it more towards the center, you can just move it around, however you want it. Okay. Now I'm going to measure up the 5 inches I said I wanted it to be. And I'm going to mark that spot as well. Now you can mark this with a chalk. You can mark this with a water soluble marker. You can mark it however. I'm just pinning it. Now remember, you're going to do this on the front side of your dress. You're going to mark the right side of your dress. Now we're going to mark from the mark. We're going to go all the way down to the bottom of the dress where it's already been hemmed. We're going to go all the way down. And as you can see, it's about 20 inches is how long I want that slit to be. This is a very long dress. It's a maxi dress, which I love. Okay, so it's 20 inches. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut a strip of fabric that is 20 inches long by an inch and a half wide, or an inch and a quarter wide, depending on how much allowance you want it to have. Now, I want to have allowance at the bottom and allowance at the top so I can have extra fabric. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to cut it, instead of cutting it 20 inches, I'm going to cut it 22 inches. Lakeisha did mention that it would be better for us to have extra fabric that we can then cut off than to not have enough fabric and then have to add on. That would be no fun. So I'm going to do 22 inches. She said that probably adding an inch at each end would be great. So that's what I'm doing. So I'm going to cut a strip. I already cut a strip. I'm going to cut a strip that's 22 inches long. And I'm doing 1.5 inches wide. And the reason is because my fabric is really flimsy. I want to be able to fold it and fold it again when I hem it. But if you don't want to do that, you can also go ahead and serge around the whole thing to finish up this fabric so it's not going to fray on you. I'm going to fold and fold when I hem. So that's why I'm doing it this way. But anyway, once I've got the measurements and I know exactly where, I'm actually going to, good thing my fabric has like lines so I can kind of tell where it's at, but I still want to go ahead and mark my fabric so I know exactly where I want my strip to lay. I'm using I don't have any more of this fabric, and if you're doing this on a store-bought dress, chances are you don't have the same fabric of the dress. That's okay. You can use a coordinating fabric. This one is basically the same color, so if you can see the facing on the inside of the slit, it'll be fine. Or I sometimes like to do an accent color, which is fun because then when the slit flies open, you can kind of see a little bit of an accent color. That's also a fun touch. Anyway, what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab that strip of fabric and I'm going to place it an inch above where I marked that top pin right there. And I'm just going to go ahead and pin it there. And then I'm going to go all the way down. I'm just going to be moving those pins so I know exactly where it's supposed to be. And I'm just pinning it to my fabric, because then the next step to do is to go ahead and sew it. All right, once that's pinned down, you want to make sure that you know where the center it's going to be. So if you want to mark it with chalk marker, however you want to mark it, that's up to you. And also make sure you can't tell with this one, this fabric, it looks the same on both sides, but you want to place that fabric right here, the strip of fabric, you want to place it right sides together. So you want the right side of the fabric to be touching the right side of the dress. So I cannot see any fabric. Okay, so like if I was using this fabric right here, this is the right side of the fabric, I will be facing it down on top of the dress. And this is the right side of my dress. So I'll be placing it on top. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over to my sewing machine and I'm going to sew up a line. I'm going to sew it up 1/8 of an inch away from the center line of my actual, what's going to be my facing of my slit. So I'm going to go right 1/8 of an inch away from the center, all the way up until I'm an inch away, which that's the extra fabric. And then I'm going to pivot and turn and go a couple stitches and then go down 1/8 of an inch away from it to the other side. And what I want to do is as I get higher up to the slit, I'm going to lessen my stitch length to like a 2, just so it's a little bit tight. So it's not going to come unravel or anything here at the top. Turn and then go slide all the way down. I'm going to go all the way down to the end of the slit. So let's go do that. As I start, I want to make sure I do a back stitch and then keep going. Make sure you're not catching any of the dress underneath it that is not supposed to be caught on there. Lower your stitch. When you're an inch away, you're going to lift up your foot, leave your needle down. We're going to turn. Just do a few stitches. And then we're going to turn again. Going down towards the bottom. Make sure you keep your fabric straight. Then you want to make sure you back stitch at the end. All right, so it's kind of hard to see, but I have this here. As you can see, the 2 lines, they're sewn right in the middle. So now we're going to grab some sharp scissors and we're going to cut right in between, right in the middle of those 2 lines. Do not cut the thread and do not cut any other part of your dress. All right, now you can trim that allowance here at the top to make it like a 1/2 inch allowance here, and the same with the bottom. I just want like a 1/2 inch, so that way it's not like a whole long thing right here. Okay, and what we're going to do now we have that slit, right? So now we're gonna sew it up. So we're gonna face the facing, we're gonna bring it towards the back and pull that allowance, steam it towards the facing. So all this allowance here, we're going to steam it towards the facing and give it a good steam. Then we're going to fold this allowance here, the top, the 1/2 inch allowance at the bottom, fold it up. Okay. And then we're going to bring this allowance over and fold it. If it's already serged, you can just bring it over and top stitch. As you can see, that will be top stitched like that. This is the inside, this is the back. But I didn't want to serge, even though I don't know why, because I have serged at the hem here. But that's okay. You can fold it once and then fold it again. That's what I'm going to do. But obviously the bottom also needs to be folded. But I'm going to go do that on my ironing board because it's easier than trying to do it right here without creasing it or nothing. So let's go to the ironing board, and with a really hot iron, we're going to steam it, we're going to clip it, then we're going to top stitch it. And that's it. That's the end of this. That's how easy it is to put a slit on your dress or skirt. All right, so I'm coming at it from the wrong side of the fabric. This is my wrong side. I'm flipping that up and making that allowance, steaming it towards my facing. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold that top down and steam it there. That's my allowance right there. Then because I did not serge my edges, I'm going to fold a 1/4 inch in all the way around. If you had it serged, you would just fold right over, keeping that allowance towards the facing, and then I'm going to flip again and give it a good steam. 1/4 inch, and then flip again. And then I'm going to pin or clip to keep it stable, so that way I can go ahead and sew. And I'm going to do that all the way up. Fold it a 1/4 inch and then fold it again. Okay, I'm going all the way up just like that. This is going to be what the wrong side of the fabric looks like, and this is the right side. You can't even see it. We're going to go top stitch it. So let me go all the way up, and then I'm going to show you what I'm going to do up here at the top. Okay, at the top, you want to make sure you bring that whole thing over. I'm going to give it a steam first to make sure that that's nice and even here at the top. Just keep it straight. And if it's easier for you, like I said, you want to give it a good steam. You can do it a good steam first this way. And then, now if you would have serged this edges, you do not have to, steam it and then fold it. It's because I didn't serge the edges. But what I'm going to do here is I'm going to fold that allowance down. And then that top will be finished here. So you can see that. Put that at the top, pin the top. Okay, and then the sides go in too. There we go. And there we can continue to go all the way down. And then do the same on the other side, which I haven't done yet. Fold it down, and then fold this in. So this is what the top is going to look like. And again, just continue all the way down around the whole thing. And then we'll go over to our sewing machine and top stitch to secure it. All right, so as you can tell, it's finished here at the bottom, and it goes all the way up and then right there. So we're going to go from the bottom, stitch all the way up, turn there, go all the way down. Okay, that is what the inside looks like, and the outside is just the little stitching right there all the way down. Here's what the top looks like, and here it is on the right side. I'm gonna go try it on and show you what that looks like. All right, friends, we are finished, and I think the slit adds so much to the dress. I love how it turned out. Maybe next time I'll go a little bit higher, but I wanted to take it a little bit at a time before I went all the way up, and then I was like, you know what I mean. Anyway, I think it turned out really good. That was such a quick and easy hack. I'm so excited about it. I love it. Don't forget to check out our blog. For real, there are so many tips and tricks and hacks on there. You're gonna love it. So make sure you check it out. Make sure you subscribe to this channel. Comment below and let me know what you think of this hack. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you all next time.